All right, let's talk about something we've all been through, trying to start a new habit. You get this burst of inspiration, you have the best intentions, but somehow it just never seems to stick. Well, today we're going to break down exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to actually fix it with a strategy that's, well, it's surprisingly simple.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. You decide, that's it, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. every single morning. Or, I'm hitting the gym 3 times a week, no more excuses. You're all fired up, you're ready to go, maybe you even buy some new running shoes. That energy, it's totally real. And hey, for a couple of days, it works. You're on a roll. You're actually doing the thing. But then, life does what life does. You have a crazy day at work, you stay up too late watching a show, and suddenly that 6 a.m. alarm feels less like a fresh start and more like a cruel joke. And just like that, poof, the routine's gone, and you're right back where you started. Now, here's where things get interesting. Our first instinct is to blame ourselves, right? I just don't have enough willpower. But the whole idea behind this explainer is that you've got it all wrong. The problem isn't you. It's not some personal failing. It was never about your willpower. The problem is the strategy itself. We're pretty much setting ourselves up to fail right from the get-go. So let's pull back the curtain and look at what's really going on inside our brains. It turns out there are two huge reasons why we push back so hard against these big, ambitious changes. And once you see them, I promise, everything else is going to start to make sense. So culprit number one is our total reliance on motivation. Think about it. We usually start the new habit when we feel motivated, but motivation is just an emotion, like being happy or excited. And just like any emotion, it comes and goes. It's a fantastic starter engine, don't get me wrong, but it's a terrible cruise control. You just can't count on it to show up on a rainy Tuesday morning when you're tired and you're just not feeling it. And this really shows the main conflict, doesn't it? Motivation, it's like a flash flood. It's powerful, but it's totally unpredictable. Consistency, on the other hand, is like a steady stream. It's a system, and a system can handle a bad day. A system doesn't care about your feelings. The real goal here is to build a system, not just ride some emotional wave that's bound to crash. And the second reason? It comes down to how our brains are wired. Your brain is an efficiency machine. Its main job is to conserve energy. Every habit you already have, like brushing your teeth or your morning commute, that's a superhighway in your brain. It's paved, it's automatic, it takes almost zero effort. A new habit? Well, that's like trying to hack a new dirt path through a thick forest with a machete. It takes a ton of energy, and your brain will always want to take the easy paved highway. So, if going big is basically doomed from the start because of our flaky motivation and a lazy brain, what in the world is the answer? Well, it's something that feels kind of wrong at first, because it goes against everything we're taught about having big goals and being ambitious. That's it, right there. The prescription is to make your new habit so small, so ridiculously easy, that it's almost laughable. We are talking about an action that takes so little energy, so little willpower, that your brain can't even come up with a good excuse to say no to it. Let's make this super clear. Your old goal might have been run a 5K. Huge, kind of intimidating. Your new goal? Put on my running shoes and walk around the block. That's it. Do you see the difference? One requires a massive amount of effort. The other is so simple it would feel silly not to do it. And this applies to literally anything. Instead of meditating for 20 minutes, just meditate for 2. Instead of reading a whole chapter every night, just read 1 page. Forget the full workout, just do 5 minutes of stretching. You're basically dropping the barrier to entry down to 0. And this is the most important part. In the beginning, the goal has nothing to do with the outcome. It's not about getting fit or becoming a genius or finding inner peace. The only goal is to show up. You are literally proving to your own brain that you are the type of person who does this thing now. You're carving that little dirt path, one tiny step at a time. Okay, so we've got our tiny habit, awesome. But how do we make sure we actually remember to do it in the chaos of our daily lives? Well, there's this brilliant little trick for that. It's called habit stacking. The whole idea is to piggyback your new, tiny little habit onto a routine that's already a superhighway in your brain. You're borrowing the momentum from a habit you already do automatically to launch the new one. So here's the formula. It's a simple 2-step process. First, pick an anchor habit, something you do every single day without even thinking about it, like making your morning coffee. Then, step 2, you attach your new tiny habit to it. So it becomes a rule. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 2 minutes. Or after I brush my teeth at night, I will read 1 page of my book. It's simple, it's clear, and it just slots right into your existing life.
All right, we're at the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most important one: managing your expectations about time. Because this whole process is incredibly powerful, but it is not magic. And it is definitely not instant.
So we've all heard this number before, right? It takes 21 days to form a new habit. Yeah. According to the actual research, that's just not true. It's a nice, tidy number, but it's a myth. And it sets a really unrealistic expectation that can make you feel like a failure when it doesn't stick that fast.
The reality, it's closer to this number: 66 days. On average, it takes about 2 months, sometimes a little more, for a new behavior to become truly automatic. And remember, that is just an average. For some people, some habits, it could be faster. For others, way longer. And that is perfectly okay.
See, the real finish line isn't a date on your calendar. The real finish line is a feeling. It's that moment when your new dirt path has become so well worn that it actually feels strange not to walk down it. It's when skipping your 2-minute meditation feels just as off as forgetting to brush your teeth. That's when you know. That's when it has become a part of you.
So, if we boil this whole thing down, it really comes back to this one powerful idea. Forget the huge all-or-nothing effort that just fizzles out in a week. Focus on the tiny, repeatable action you can do today and tomorrow and the day after that. That is how real, lasting change actually happens.
Which really just leaves one last question for you. It's not about some grand ambition you have for next year. It's much simpler than that. What's the one tiny, embarrassingly small habit you're going to start tomorrow?